Welcome back once again to the Road Warrior Project. I had no fucking motivation to work out today. I got about halfway through it, and I just wasn't feeling it. Sometimes it's how it is. Fuck, my bad. Well, so after the training I had today at work, it reminded me that I was probably being a little complacent with my training and my gear, which in the first responder world, that's not really a good thing. You need to be familiar with your training, your gear, and just knowledge of what your job is in general. Because once you become complacent, you just become lazy, and you're probably not going to perform how you should be, not to your, the best of your ability. Um, yeah, don't become complacent though. Just because you've been in a position long enough and you feel like, oh, nothing's ever going to happen because something hasn't happened in a while, or I've earned enough respect and have a name for myself in this area, so nothing's ever going to happen. I don't have to worry about it. That's not a really good state of mind to have. You should always. I'm not saying you have to assume something bad is going to happen at all times of the day, but you shouldn't assume that it's never going to. You know what I mean? You can feel comfortable where you're at and feel confident in what you're doing, but also remember and keep it in the back of your head, okay, well, something still could happen, and I need to make sure I'm fucking ready and make sure I'm on top of my game, not just for myself, but for my teammates that also depend on me. You know what I mean? In the law enforcement world, we use all types of gear. I work in a prison, so I mean, in a way, I'm kind of limited on what I can do with certain tools and tactics, I guess. So it's my duty to make sure I'm familiar with all of those things, and I'm a use of force expert in a way, so I can perform my tasks in a shitty situation the best I can. You know what I mean? I can't just slap on my gear and never fuck with it. You know what I mean? I should be training with it or be familiar with how it works and constantly remind myself and go over how it works, what it does, what the effects of those certain tools are, not just for the people I'm using it against, but how I can be affected and people around me can be affected as well. You should just be running scenarios through your head of how to use your tools and your tactics, and not just have a lazy state of mind about things. You know what I mean? I see that a lot in the workplace, of people just being complacent and not really keeping up on their training, and they just get super fucking rusty. And you'll see it when you train with them that they forgot how to do a lot of things because they just let it all go. You know what I mean? Sometimes they just been there for so long and had a really long term of service, I guess you could say, and they just are used to nothing ever happening. But the one time something does happen, all their training goes out the window because they haven't been training. They haven't been using their tools. They forgot how to use their tools and the tactics they were taught to use in those situations. It happens, but the only person that can prevent that from happening is yourself. So it's your duty to make sure that you are training up on those things, because you're going to be kind of useless if your training and your tools become useless to you because you forgot how to fucking use it, if that makes sense. So don't become complacent just because nothing's happening at that time. You should always be ready for something to happen and be ready and know how to use your tools proficiently. That's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Now, I'm guilty of that. I've become complacent sometimes, and thankfully I've quickly realized, hey, maybe I should fucking start keeping up on my training, because the last thing I want to do is become a weak link with my team if something happens. I want them to look at me and be able to depend on me and know that I will be there to fucking help them and utilize everything I have on me, physically, mentally, my tools, whatever. So think about that. Maybe take a look at yourself as well and see what you can maybe brush up on and get better at. There's always something you can get better at. I don't care how much you think you know. You can always get better and learn more and learn new things. So that's all I got. Thank you for tuning in to the Road Warrior Project, and I will see you guys next time.